See, as per this first law of thermodynamics, the mathematical form delta U is equal to the Q plus W, right? Q plus W. Also, we had before work done against a constant external pressure. Constant external pressure. P is given by W is equal to minus P into delta V like that. P into delta V like that, right? So when you substitute here, therefore, delta U is equal to Q plus of minus, I can directly write, it becomes minus P delta, right? Some books also give the Q heat changes, the symbol small q, and some books the capital Q. Okay, no problem. During any process, you can write this Q heat change as small q also, no problem. Heat change. Okay. As per your NCERT book representation, I'm writing that's all. So delta U is equal to Q minus P delta V, like that, right? Next, but at constant volume, what happens to this W is equal to minus P delta V? At constant volume, what is the work done by the system? Delta V becomes what at constant volume?
Zero.
Because volume is constant, change is zero. That's as simple as that. Therefore, W becomes equal to 0. So work done by the system at constant volume is 0. You have to remember that. Okay, this can be a data to remember for solving some MCQs. Okay, so finally, what happens to this equation? Therefore, the above equation delta U is equal to Q. This is 0. So therefore, at constant volume, delta U is equal to QV. V for constant volume there. That's all. What is the meaning of this statement, mathematical statement? During any process that happens at constant volume, heat change Q at constant volume V, QV is nothing but the change in internal energy. That means heat that changes during any process at constant volume is equal to internal energy change. This also can be the rewriting first law for constant volume. Can we say that? Constant volume. So at
Yes,
constant volume, whatever the heat change is there, that becomes equal to delta U. Similarly, during isothermal process, W is equal to Q, means heat change in at constant temperature becomes work done. Correct now? Similarly, work done becomes equal to delta U in adiabatic process at constant enthalpy or heat change, right? So this is one thing you should know. Heat change at constant volume is delta U, right now. Also, we have this. Just now we had in the last page, that is delta U is equal to delta H plus, sorry, delta, in terms of delta H only, right? Delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V we had, right? P delta. Let us substitute delta U, what we had written just now here. Delta is equal to Q minus P delta V. So, but you can say delta U is equal to Q minus P delta V. Okay. So, therefore, delta H is equal to, in the place of delta U, Q minus P delta V plus P delta V. So, these two terms cancel. This happens at constant pressure, right? Because we had written this equation at constant pressure. Therefore, what has happened? Delta H has been equal to Q at constant pressure P. That is at constant pressure. So, what is the conclusion again? if a process is being carried out constant pressure, whatever the heat change that happens, that occurs during the process, should be equal to enthalpy change of the system. So heat change at constant pressure, QB, is equal to change in enthalpy. Heat change at constant volume, QV, is equal to change in internal energy. Okay. So therefore, that equation, therefore, the equation we had delta H is equal to delta U plus P delta V or RT delta N form can also be written as, also becomes, what is delta H? It is nothing but QP, heat change at constant pressure, heat change at constant volume plus RT delta. Sometimes in the problems, they give nomenclature like that. During a process, the heat change at constant pressure of the system is equal to so and so joules. Heat change at constant volume is some 300 kilojoules. What is the delta N or temperature? Something that they ask you. Or what is the difference between heat change at constant pressure and constant volume for the system at 300 Kelvin for the reaction? Delta N you can find out. Temperature is given. QP minus QV is what they're asking. So just know about this. That's all. QV is equal to delta U. QP is equal to delta H. Okay. Now we'll take up different definitions of enthalpies. See, we have seen what is enthalpy. It is the total heat content present in the system, which is equal to U plus P, right? It's a state function. It is an extensive property and all those things, right? Now, whenever a reaction takes place, energies of the reaction keeps changing because bonds have to be broken between the reactants to form new bonds to yield the new products. That being the case, energies of overall reaction changes. Which is the common form of energy always seen during any process? It is the heat form. When a reaction is happening in a container, say beaker, sound will not generally come. Rarely it may come if gas is evolving, sound energy. Generally, it is associated with heat energy. Okay. So heat predictions during any process is done under thermochemistry. So thermochemistry is sub branch of thermodynamics, where under thermochemistry, we are going to study heat changes associated during any chemical reaction or a physical process and its predictions, calculations, all these things under thermochemistry. So thermochemistry, particularly for heat changes. Okay. And now we'll take up what is enthalpy of reaction. Before that, there is one important thing we need to heading will just understand. There is something called thermochemical equation. Thermochemical equation. What is a thermochemical equation? Generally, when it comes to thermochemistry, we would generally write thermochemical equations. What is a thermochemical equation? It is a chemical equation. Name itself suggests it is a chemical equation, no doubt. Okay. So let me write a equation for this. I'll write sulfur. When it is combusted, it becomes sulfur dioxide. Now it's a balanced chemical equation. No doubt it's balanced. 1 mole of sulfur, 1 mole of oxygen, 1 mole of sulfur. Everything is balanced. Apart from that, just being a balanced chemical equation, in order to call this balanced chemical equation as a thermochemical equation, you should mention physical states of all the substances, whether it is reactants or products in a chemical reaction. What is the physical state of solid sulfur? It is solid. Sulfur, it is solid. Oxygen, it's gas. Sulfur dioxide is gas. When I say its physical state, sir, when you heat it, sulfur can become liquid or even the vaporize also. It can further, when heated, it may convert to vapors also. You have to write whatever the physical state of reactants and products are there when the reaction is carried out at given conditions of temperature and pressure. That's the thing. So when we carry out a reaction, generally it is under normal conditions of temperature and pressure. So sulfur exists in room temperature and pressure as a solid, oxygen as gas, sulfur dioxide as gas, like that. So they are called standard state of a substance. Standard state or standard physical state of a substance means it is the physical state of the substance that exists under normal conditions. That is the meaning. But when it comes to definition, what is standard state of a substance? It is the state of the substance at 1 bar pressure. At 1 bar pressure under specified temperature. Is it okay? In its most stable form. So look at this definition. What is standard state? Just know about it. See, we have defined state of a system. It is the condition of the system expressed by giving definite values for state variables such as temperature, volume, pressure, composition. We define. Then what is standard state? Okay, I think I'll write standard state first because we have defined this, right? What is standard state of a system? I think I'll just switch off the video. Let's see. Standard state of a system. Standard state of a system. It is the state of the system. It is state or condition of the system. System, when I say, is substance under study. It is the state of a system at 1 bar pressure. 1 bar pressure under specified temperature in its stable form. That is the standard state. Okay, so okay, we'll take an example. What is the standard state of carbon? Carbon under normal conditions. See, 1 bar, 1 atmosphere in terms of bar is 1.01 bar. That's all. It is almost same. It is almost same. Okay. Now, at 298 Kelvin, in under 1 bar pressure, what is the physical state of carbon?
Solid.
Solid.
So that's all. So standard state of carbon is solid. Oxygen, gas.
Yes.
Iron, solid.
Solid.
Mercury,
Liquid.
Liquid.
so that is the standard physical state or standard state of mercury. Similarly, we can take benzene, it's liquid.
Liquid.
Water, solid or liquid. So they are all
Liquid.
standard states like that. Okay, we'll get back to this now. What is the thermochemical equation I was telling? Thermochemical equation is a balanced chemical equation. Not just that. Physical states of reactants and products must be mentioned. Yes, it's mentioned. And then this, again, it's not a complete thermochemical equation. What else to be written? We need to write the heat changes during the reaction. As I told you, during any process, heat changes are common. Heat changes would always take place, whether the reaction is chemical or physical. Heat changes would always take place. So heat changes must be mentioned. Now, during this process, heat is liberated here. So how do you write heat liberated? Plus. So along with product, heat is liberated. Around 297 kilojoules of heat is liberated. Now, what is the meaning of this thermochemical equation? So everything is mentioned. To understand perfectly about this thermochemical equation, all the required data is there. Okay, what is that? So 1 mole of sulfur is combusted in excess oxygen, so that it combines 1 mole of gaseous oxygen to form 1 mole of gaseous sulfur dioxide, and it liberates 297 kilojoules of heat. Right? So that's the meaning of that. So if you want in terms of grams also, you can say 1 mole of sulfur means how many grams? 1 mole of sulfur means how many grams?
32.
32.
32 grams of sulfur when combusted would combine with how many grams of oxygen?
32.
32 grams. To form how many grams of sulfur dioxide?
64.
Oh, so exactly. So that is the meaning. 32 grams of solid sulfur combines with 32 grams of gaseous oxygen to form 64 grams of gaseous sulfur dioxide, liberating 297 kilojoules of heat. That's the meaning of that. Okay. Now this is a complete thermochemical equation. Generally, under thermochemistry, we are going to write a thermochemical equation by and large, be it problems or anything like that. However, while writing the problems and all, we may neglect physical state sometimes. If it is H2, it is always gas. So therefore, sometimes we may, but you see to it that in the exams, you would write proper thermochemical equations there. Okay, fine. We'll take it further.
Sir, on the left-hand side, should we write any energy?
On the left hand side, it's not required because whatever the heat change is there for the entire reaction is being written after the product, because when the product is formed, then only complete heat change will be executed, right?
Yes, sir.
No problem. See, they'll also write some books also, of course, older version books they give. See, if heat is liberated here, they would simply represent reactants would lose so much energy, minus 297 on the reactant side. That is not at all being followed now. Okay, just write heat change only on the product side. Now I'll give one more equation. First of all, you should tell me whether it is thermochemical equation or not. Okay. Thermochemical equation. Is it thermochemical equation? Right?
No.
Huh?
No.
No,
No. Okay. I'll write liquid. Is it thermochemical equation?
no, sir.
Gas. Is it thermochemical equation?
No.
No, sir.
Liquid. Now is it thermochemical equation?
No.
No, sir.
Then what else should be written?
Energy change.
Wait.
I'll write plus 286.0 kilojoules. Now is it thermochemical equation?
Wait.
Pardon me?
Sir, the weight of
No. That
reactant.
is the meaning that we derive. That when we ask to explain a thermochemical equation, we would write all those things either in terms of moles or in terms of grams. We can understand the thermochem. That's all. Now, is it the thermochemical equation?
Yes, sir.
Freeze. Shall I freeze it now? All of you?
Should the condition also be given?
What is the condition? What condition you want? Huh?
Then when electricity is passed.
I didn't get you. What?
The condition for which that reaction happens, like when electricity is passed or something.
No. This is
Not required, right?
It's not required. It's only combustion of hydrogen.
Should it be balanced, sir?
Look at that. It's not balanced. It's a balanced chemical equation. I intentionally left it now. Should I write 2 here or 2 here? Or what should I do now to balance it?
We should write 2H2O.
Or half O2, can I?
Yes, sir.
Generally, writing fractions is avoided. But in
Ah.
thermochemistry, for various reasons, we write fractions. You will come to know why do we write fractions. Okay. So H2 plus half O2 giving rise to H2. No problem. Otherwise, 2H2 plus O2 giving rise to 2H2O, you can write, not a problem. In such cases, you have to change this heat change. The heat change is for 1 mole of water formed. There is one more problem here. That is, hydrogen is not liquid. Correct, no?
Yes, sir.
Hydrogen is the gas. So that is also. Now, can anybody explain the meaning of this thermochemical equation? Come on, man.
2 grams of hydrogen reacts with 16 grams of oxygen to give 18 grams of water and liberate 286 kilojoules of energy.
This is correct, but it is not complete.
Gas.
Okay. Now again, come on, restate it now.
2 grams of gaseous hydrogen react with 16 grams of gaseous oxygen to form 18 grams of liquid water and liberate 286 kilojoules of energy.
That's the thing. Very good. Okay. So these are the things. Okay. Let me take one more example. Enough. Right. N2 plus O2 giving rise to N1 minus 180 0.1 kilojoules. Now, people have to tell me, is it a balanced chemical? Is it a thermochemical equation?
No.
No,
What should
sir.
I do now?
Physical state.
This is
Physical
liquid or
state and
solid?
balancing.
Balance.
Liquid or solid?
Gas.
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 Liquid or solid?
Gas.
Gas.
Liquid or solid?
Gas.
Gas.
Now, fine. It is
Right.
thermochemical equation. Can I declare now?
Not balanced.
No, sir. Balance it.
Not balance.
This is actually 2N. For 2NO, okay, it is 180.1 kilojoule. Now I want somebody else apart from Mayank now. Next choice. People have to explain the meaning of this thermochemical equation. When you explain, you have to emphasize on the point that I have written minus there.
28 grams of gaseous nitrogen
Tell me.
reacts. 28 grams of gaseous nitrogen reacts
How much?
with
I'm not hearing you properly.
28.
Correct. Let me take green.
Yeah.
28 grams of
Gaseous nitrogen
correct.
reacts with 32 grams of gaseous oxygen,
Correct.
absorbing heat of 180.1 kilojoules and releasing 2 more 1 minute 60 grams of nitrogen NO.
60. 60.
Yeah.
Correct. So 14 plus 16, 30 plus 30, 60 grams of gaseous nitric oxide absorbing 180.1 or 180.0 kilojoules of heat. So heat is absorbed here. In the previous two cases, heat is liberated. So these are called as thermochemical equations. No problem.
Sir, can I say it as 1 mole of nitrogen gas? Sir?
No problem.
Then will 180.1 kilojoules change then?
No. When you say 1 mole of gaseous nitrogen, when oxidized or combusted, it combines
Yes,
with 1 mole of gaseous oxygen to form 2 moles of gaseous nitric oxide. Nothing will change. Because 1 mole of nitric oxide is 14 plus 16, 30. 2 moles is 60. No problem. Absorbing 180.1 kilo.
Yes, sir.
Next, anybody else? Shall we proceed now? So this is thermochemical equation. Now, the same thing, heat liberated or heat absorbed will be represented in terms of delta H later. Delta H. Okay. If you write delta H symbol, change in enthalpy, right? The same plus 297 kilojoule will be written as minus 297 kilojoule. Why? I'll let you know now. Just in a while. Similarly, here, this is heat liberated plus 286 kilojoule, no? Or in terms of delta H, the same value without writing this, you can write delta H minus 286 kilojoule. Similarly, without writing minus 180.1, in terms of delta H, you could write plus 180.1 kilojoule. Am I right? So this is how exactly things are. So this is in terms of delta H, these notations. Let's proceed. So thermochemical equation we have understood. Generally in thermochemistry, under thermodynamics, we are going to write these thermochemical equations. Now, I told you during any chemical reaction, either heat is liberated or heat is absorbed. Always. There is no reaction or a process where heat change is zero. It can never happen like that. Heat change is zero, can never happen. Then that simply means that there is no process happening at all. Am I right? So we'll take it further. So based on whether heat is liberated or absorbed, there are two types of reactions.
Sir,
Ah,
can the energy be released in other forms like light and
why
etc.?
not? Why not? It is always possible. See,
So
that's why I told you, sound
heat is
energy could also come.
yes,
Okay, and light energy could also. It will catch fire. No,
yes,
sometimes
sir.
when volatile liquid is no, you have this flame test. During flame test, you are going to take the salt and take it in the form of a paste by adding little acid into it, and then heat that one in a flame. When you combust that, obviously some oxidation process, combustion process would be taking place, liberating heat and flame of different colors. So it's always, most common form is heat. Heat will always be associated. Apart from that, there can be light, there can be sound, anything like that, right? That's always.
Sir, is there any reaction in which heat delta H is zero, sir?
No, it can't be.
No, heat is zero, but there is some other energies like
No.
sound and something.
No. It is
Ah.
not at all possible. Delta H0 is not at all possible. Now
Yes.
it's like, when you get up, for example, when you sit, it's a process. You may think that, sir, when I get up, when I sit, the enthalpy change is not there. Either some joules of heat is either absorbed or liberated during any process. Even if you get up, you are going to lift your body, heat is absorbed. If you sit, heat is liberated. During any process, you breathe, heat change will be there. Okay, everywhere heat changes are common form and you can't make it zero.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Further types of reaction I was telling. Okay. Types of reaction. What are the basis for this? The basis is whether heat is liberated or not. Based on heat changes, we are going to classify. There are two types of reactions. Exothermic reactions. What is exothermic reaction? Exothermic reaction is one where heat is liberated. The reaction which proceeds by liberating heat is called exothermic reaction.
Delta H is negative.
By exactly liberating heat. Okay, exothermic reactions are those which proceed by liberating heat. And okay, as I have quoted some example there, let me take an example here also. When carbon is combusted, becomes carbon dioxide. It's a balanced equation. Now heat is liberated. So plus 393.5 kilojoules. Now 0.5 kilojoules. During exothermic reaction, heat is liberated. Okay. So since heat is liberated, tell me enthalpy of products and enthalpy of enthalpy is nothing but heat. Enthalpy of products and enthalpy of reactant in an exothermic reaction, which will be more?
Reactants will be more.
Products will be
Lesser. They would have lost.
It is liberated. It is
The
lost.
heat would.
See,
From
together
system.
from all the reactants, if there are 1000 joules, 393.5 kilojoules of around 400 kilojoules of heat is liberated. So product has only left with only 600 joules. That's the meaning of that. Am I right? So since heat is liberated during exothermic reaction, I can always say H enthalpy of products is less than enthalpy of reactants. How do we calculate delta H? Delta H for a reaction is HP minus HR. HP minus HR. Now, what happens to delta H if HP is less than HR? Delta H will be therefore what?
Negative.
Negative. That's as simple. So, for all exothermic reaction, delta H is negative is the moral of the story right now. Therefore, we can write the above equation. In terms of delta H as what? Minus 393.5 kilojoules. This page has become excess now. It's vomiting already. Okay. Now got it. Why this plus 393.5 kilojoules for heat liberated becomes in terms of delta H minus 393.5? Because during all exothermic reaction delta H is negative. Why it is negative? Because heat is liberated so that HP is less than HR. So difference becomes negative. That's the reason behind it. So for all exothermic reactions, I simply say enthalpy change is negative. Is that okay? We'll proceed now. We'll finish up here. Endothermic reaction. What is an endothermic reaction? The reaction which proceeds by
Absorbing heat.
absorbing heat. Absorbing heat. So an example, just I quoted before, it can be N2 plus O2 giving rise to 2N. And here it is minus 180.1 kilojoules. Okay, this is endothermic reaction. Now what are the thing? Since heat is absorbed, since heat is absorbed, tell me HP and HR, which is greater?
HP is greater than HR.
HP is greater than HR. Therefore, delta H, which is calculated as HP minus HR, will be positive or negative?
Positive.
Therefore, this equation can also be written as N2 plus O2 giving rise to 2NO gas. With the delta H, we write plus 180.1 kilojoules. That's as simple. So for endothermic reaction, delta H will always be positive is the conclusion. Is that okay? Fine. Why delta H negative? Why delta H positive? Since heat is liberated, since heat is absorbed, can be final answer, but you can say why delta H is positive during endothermic reaction? Because HP is greater than HR as heat enthalpy increases, heat is absorbed. That's why difference becomes positive. Let me proceed. Now we'll take up enthalpy of reaction. Enthalpy of reaction, and symbol for is delta H. No, for enthalpy of reaction we put a symbol R there as a subscript of delta. Delta RH enthalpy of reaction. Okay. See, enthalpy of reaction simply means you carry out any reaction, whatever the enthalpy change that occurs during that course of reaction can be enthalpy of reaction. That's all, right? We wrote this equation. Now H2 plus half O2 giving rise to H2. So first of all, is it a balanced equation? Of course. Let me make it thermochemical equation. Now delta H is heat is liberated here, minus 286.0 kilojoules. Now, this minus 286.0 kilojoules is called delta RH. That's all. Enthalpy of this reaction is minus 286.0. To call enthalpy change during any reaction as enthalpy of reaction, the reaction must be balanced. That's all. Keeping the reaction imbalanced, you can't claim it as enthalpy of reaction because it doesn't mean, if I doesn't write half O2 here, H2 plus O2 giving it H2O, it cannot happen like that, right? See, when it is not balanced, then heat change doesn't give proper meaning. So only condition we need to incorporate to call any enthalpy change during the course of a reaction is it should be balanced. So I can always define enthalpy of reaction like this. Enthalpy of reaction means it is a change in enthalpy that occurs during a reaction when number of moles of reactants as represented by the balanced chemical equation undergo complete reaction. That's all. Change in enthalpy that occurs when number of moles of reactants as represented by balanced chemical equation undergo complete reaction. That is enthalpy of reaction. That's all. So you want one more enthalpy of reaction that you can take any enthalpy. For example, NaCl when dissolved in water, it dissolves. So dissolved in water, dissolution should always be represented as the AQ, the medium, aqueous medium. So Na plus, it ionizes to cation and anion Cl minus in aqueous medium. So it's balanced. One NaCl has one Na plus one Cl minus. So enthalpy of this process, delta RH, is plus 5.45 kilojoules. It is not that you need to remember all these values. I remember for some of the process I am writing. Whatever I don't remember, I just change, right? I remember just whether heat is liberated or absorbed. I would write minus Q or plus Q kilojoules. Okay, no need to remember all these values. If you can remember, it's fine. It's always better to know much more, right, than what is required. So NaCl plus aqueous, Na plus aqueous, Cl minus it's plus. So this is of course solid. When dissolves, it becomes aqueous. This is enthalpy of reaction as per the. So change in enthalpy when number of moles of reactants as represented by the balanced chemical equation undergo complete change or reaction. It's called enthalpy of reaction. Now, in a reaction, there may be formation of some substance happening. Here water is formed. Here we don't say ions are formed, instead we say the process is ionization. So in a chemical reaction, there may be some amount of substance formed, or some amount of substance combusted, or there may be some amount of solute dissolved. This is what ionization. It dissolves and then ionizes. Or some substance would have hydrated, or some substance would have changed its physical state, solid to liquid, liquid to gas. So like that, during any chemical process, depending on what is happening during that process, there are different enthalpies. For example, whenever 1 mole of a substance is formed, like in first equation, 1 mole of water is formed. From where? From its elements. Which are the elements of water? Hydrogen and oxygen. So whenever 1 mole of substance is formed from its elements, then this enthalpy of reaction can be specially referred as enthalpy of formation. Okay, enthalpy of reaction will take different names for different reactions. We are going to take up different definitions now. Okay, sometimes before that, I'll just finish up this. This delta RH is there, no? That delta RH, enthalpy of reaction, can be written as delta RH naught. It should be called, what is delta RH? Enthalpy of reaction, that's all. What is delta RH naught? Standard enthalpy of reaction. What is the condition required to call delta RH as delta RH naught? So standard enthalpy of reaction means it's nothing but the enthalpy of reaction at 1 bar pressure, in standard states of the substance. In standard state of substance. Okay. Now, for example, you carry out this water formation. Look at the substances there. H2O2, H2O should be there in standard states. Of course, standard state of hydrogen is gas, oxygen is gas, water is liquid. And one more condition, if you carry out this reaction at 1 bar pressure, then this 286.0 kilojoules can be called as delta RH naught. That's all. That means enthalpy of reaction at 1 bar pressure when all the substances are in their standard states is called standard enthalpy of reaction. Like that, for any reaction, if this is conditions, 1 bar pressure and standard state is applied, then it becomes standard definition of that particular enthalpy change. Okay, just know about it. That's all. Next, we'll take up other definitions. Enthalpy of formation. What is enthalpy of formation? Symbol delta RH. We write general symbol for this. If it is enthalpy of formation, in the place of R, we write F. That's all. Enthalpy of formation. What is enthalpy of formation? Formation, when I say for a chemical reaction, it applies for products or reactants. What is being formed in a reaction?
Products.
Product. So enthalpy of formation definition, it is more directed about the formation of products. So what is the thing? It is the change in enthalpy that occurs when 1 mole of product is formed. When 1 mole of product is formed. 1 mole of product is formed is one condition. Next is another condition. From its elements only, not from any other substance. From its elements. In their standard states. Standard states. That means whatever the physical state, they exist at 1 bar pressure, right? So that is the meaning of it. So it is the change in enthalpy. It is the change in enthalpy that occurs when 1 mole of product is formed from its elements in their standard physical state. For standard states, no problem. Okay. That is enthalpy of formation. Now we'll take up the same thing. Example, H2, O2 giving rise to H2. Okay. This is half. Now what does this reaction indicate? It indicates the formation of 1 mole of water. From where? From its elements only. See, water can be formed by the combustion of any substance, you know, any hydrocarbon you burn, water will be formed. You take benzene, you burn, you take glucose, you burn, you take methane and burn.
Yes, sir.
Water will be formed. It becomes carbon dioxide and water, 2H2. But enthalpy change here that happens now is not equal to enthalpy of formation. It cannot be called as enthalpy of formation. Because water is formed from the combustion of a substance, not from the elements. So if you want to call any enthalpy change as enthalpy of formation, then 1 mole of the compound should be formed from its elements in the standard states, standard physical state, gas like that. Then I can call the enthalpy change as delta FH. So that is minus 286.0 kilojoules. Now, which is the other name for this delta FH? What is the other name for delta FH here? Delta RH. Correct? No. During any reaction, when the reaction is happening according to balanced equation, enthalpy change is enthalpy of reaction. It's a general term. For any enthalpy change, it is delta RH. The delta RH can become delta FH when 1 mole of compound is formed from its elements in their standard states. Is it okay? Now, I'll give one more equation. You should tell me whether it can be called as enthalpy of formation or not. Okay. Okay. Can we call this one as enthalpy of formation?
No, sir.
Only thing is this has to be balanced also. So what else I have to do now? This is solid. Yes, they are in the standard physical state. This is gas. Now 1 mole of sulfur dioxide is formed from its elements only. So can it be called as enthalpy of formation? So of course,
Yes, sir.
delta FH is equal to minus 297.0 kilojoules. Okay, I would take carbon combines with 3 moles of hydrogen to form 2 carbon 6 to form C2H6. Oh, one second. To form no, probably I am also making a mistake. One second. Sometimes it crashes. Okay. This is C2H6. Now, can I call this as what? What should I call this enthalpy changes? Let me write physical states. No. What should I call the enthalpy changes? Anybody?
Enthalpy of formation.
Of
Ethane.
ethane. I rather write minus 2 kilojoules. I don't know exact value. Okay. So heat is liberated during the formation of heat. Okay. Now formation of carbon dioxide. Okay. I'll take CH4. Becomes carbon dioxide. Now tell me, in order to balance it, I have to take 2O2, becomes CO2 plus 2H2. I'll write the physical states also. Now people have to tell me, can I call this 890.1 negative as enthalpy of formation of carbon dioxide? See, 1 mole of carbon dioxide is formed.
No, sir.
No. Can I call it as delta FH
No.
of carbon dioxide? No.
No.
Though 1 mole of carbon dioxide is formed, it's not from elements. Then what should I call this 890.1 kilojoule as?
Delta RH.
That is done. Can I call it as delta RH? What is only one condition that you need to incorporate to call it as delta RH?
Must be balanced.
Balance. Is it balanced? Yes, it is balanced. So delta RH is minus. So it is not equal to delta FH of CO2. I think you have understood this now. We shall proceed. Similarly, what is delta FH naught?
Standard enthalpy of formation.
See, already a part of statement is there in the definition. 1 mole of product is formed from its elements in the standard state. Element should be there in the standard state. Apart from that, one more condition is required. If standard enthalpy of formation is the term to be defined
At 1 bar.
then delta FH at 1 bar. Rest everything is there. Delta FH at 1 bar is called the delta FH naught. That's it. We carry out the reaction. So this reaction, combustion of sulfur at say 1 bar pressure, it's there in the standard states at all. Then delta FH can become delta FH naught. Okay. Let me proceed. Also, some extra concept attached to this enthalpy of formation. Tell me, enthalpy of formation is always negative or can it be positive also? It's always negative or positive also? Enthalpy of formation.
Can be positive.
We can take that example, correct? See, when N2 combines with O2, it forms 2NO. I wrote this enthalpy of reaction as plus 180.1 kilojoules. Now, can I call this enthalpy of reaction as enthalpy of formation of nitric oxide?
No.
No. Okay, let me write the part of it is the physical states. What else I have to do to get enthalpy of formation of nitric oxide?
1 mole of nitric oxide should be there.
So this is delta RH and it is not equal to delta FH of NO. It's not equal. To call it as delta FH, what should I do therefore? For enthalpy of formation of nitric oxide, what are the conditions? It should be 1 mole of that compound should be formed from its elements only. So I should write N2 plus O2 giving rise to 1 mole of NO. If 1 mole of NO has to be formed from its elements, it has to be half O2, half into. Now you got the point. In thermochemistry, we write fractions also to suit the conditions of different definitions. If 1 mole of nitric oxide has to be formed, you are bound to take half into half O2 also. However, the overall reaction would always be consuming whole number of molecules. But to suit the definitions, you take fraction also. Okay. So then this reaction, enthalpy change, can be called as enthalpy of formation of nitric oxide. How much it would be? Is it 180.1?
No, it will be half.
For 2 moles of NO form, it is 180.1, right? For 1 mole of NO form, it should be 90.5.
0.05.
0.
Sir, the reactants are not 1 mole, sir.
No, reactants need not be 1 mole. Condition is only for product. 1 mole
Okay.
of product should be formed from its elements. That's
Okay.
why I wrote different examples here. See, understanding concept is one. We have understood concept, everything fine. And that concept, under what condition it is not applicable. The definition is what is not about a definition. What is the definition is fine. What is not about the definition also should be understood. See, 1 mole of the product should be formed from its elements. Yes, we have understood. But sometimes we don't, again analyze whether the reactant should be 1 mole or not. So when the definition says 1 mole of product should be formed from its elements, it doesn't say that 1 mole of reactant also should be involved. So it naturally concludes that reactants can be fractions. Is it okay, man?
Okay, sir.
That's right. So write the physical state. This is, if the same reaction is carried out at 1 bar pressure, then what is this delta FH becomes?
Delta FH naught.
That's as simple. Now, what is the conclusion? Is it delta FH always negative or can be positive also? Negative or
Can be
positive also?
positive also.
It can be positive also. So delta FH for a compound or a substance, better say substance, can be positive or even negative. And compounds formed by liberating heat are called exothermic compounds. By liberating heat are called exothermic compounds. Similarly, compounds formed by absorbing it are called endothermic compounds. Called endothermic. So whenever, tell me, between exothermic and endothermic compounds, how exactly stability can be compared? Is it exothermic compounds more stable or endothermic compounds more stable?
Exothermic.
Why? Why exothermic compounds are more stable?
Because heat into the system might cause
Because it has lower energy,
That's
and
okay. Heat is
lower
liberated.
energy increases
When
stability.
heat is liberated, energy decreases, stability increases. So generally, okay. So exothermic compounds are more stable than endothermic. Among exothermic compounds, among exothermic compounds also, stability can be compared. Okay. So how do we compare stability among exothermic compounds? Let's say I would do one thing. I'll give one data here. Delta FH of CO, carbon monoxide, is minus 110.5 kilojoules. Okay. Delta FH of CO2 is minus 283.0 kilojoules. Now, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, heat liberated during both the compounds, both are exothermic compounds because it is liberated. Now, you need to comment on stability of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide based on enthalpy formation.
Carbon dioxide is more stable than carbon monoxide
Why?
because it has lesser energy.
Which one?
More
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon
energy
dioxide.
is liberated.
Exactly. So, we can generalize based on enthalpy of formation. More the heat liberated during the formation of a compound,
Better the stability.
that's how. Okay. So, see, look at this. When 1 mole of carbon monoxide is formed, 110.5 kilojoules heat is liberated. Whereas, when 1 mole of carbon dioxide is formed, 283.5 kilojoules of heat is liberated. Okay. Of course, from carbon monoxide, that also must be specified. I'll do one thing. If it is from carbon, it is 393.5. If it is from carbon monoxide, it is 283.0. We'll do one thing. We'll write from carbon itself. So that both will be from carbon. One second. If it is 393 from carbon, okay, no problem. And now this liberates less heat. Therefore, less stable. Liberates more heat during the formation. Liberates more heat. Therefore, more stable. Okay. So, what are the important generalization we can make now? So, more the heat liberated, more will be the stability of the compound. or in terms of enthalpy change, I have to make a statement in terms of enthalpy change. Now, minus 110.5 minus 393.0 kilojoule, which is a higher value. Which is a higher
CO
value.
CO2.
Correct. No, no. Which is negative, no. Which is a higher value. 110.5 is higher value. Negative. No. And minus 393.5 is lower value because it is negative. As a result, what we can lower the enthalpy of formation, greater is the stability in terms of enthalpy change. We didn't write enthalpy change here. We just wrote heat liberated. Heat liberated speaks about magnitude of heat liberated. Okay, we don't consider minus sign into consideration there when we say liberated. Liberated is only magnitude. So more heat is liberated, more will be the stability. So with the sign, if you have to say in terms of enthalpy change, I can say lower the enthalpy of formation. When I say lower the enthalpy of formation, more negative value, higher negative value otherwise. You can say higher the negative value of enthalpy of formation or lower the enthalpy formation, higher is the stability of the compound. Okay, you can say higher the negative value of enthalpy of formation, greater is the stability, or lower the enthalpy of formation, because when negative value is higher, value is lower. Lower the enthalpy of formation, higher is the stability of the compound. Anything you can say. So, fine. We'll proceed with the different other definitions. Now, enthalpy of combustion. C for combustion, delta CH, enthalpy of combustion. Now, combustion, see, when I say formation in a reaction, the term refers to products because products are formed. When I say combustion in a reaction, the term refers to products or reactants. Combustion word refers to reactants or products. Applies. Wait, man. Combustion, can product be combusted? If product combusted, the combustion of product again becomes another reaction where product is a reactant. I think. So things are clear. Combustion applies for reactant. Okay. What is being combusted? A reactant will be combusted to form the product. Okay. So how do we define enthalpy of combustion? So enthalpy of combustion means 1 mole of a substance must be burnt, must be combusted. 1 mole of substance must be combusted. Condition is in excess air or oxygen. What is that? That is to ensure complete combustion of 1 mole takes place, because whenever there is less supply of oxygen, then partially combusted product will be formed. Then it can't be called as enthalpy of combustion. So you take 1 mole of a substance, be it compound or element, whatever, you completely combust it to give the products. Then the change in enthalpy is called enthalpy. So 1 mole of substance must be combusted in excess air or oxygen. Then whatever the enthalpy change is called enthalpy of combustion. So what is the condition? 1 mole of substance in excess air or oxygen. So in the previous case, what is the condition for enthalpy of formation? 1 mole of the product from the elements in their standard states. Right? Now, how do we write an equation for enthalpy of combustion of carbon? So this example. If you want to write enthalpy of combustion of carbon, take 1 mole of carbon. Burn it in excess air or oxygen. Generally it takes. So it gives carbon dioxide. Then the standard states. So carbon, oxygen, carbon dioxide is gas. Then the enthalpy of reaction, whatever is there, can be called as enthalpy of combustion. That is minus 393.5 kilojoules. Okay. Now, is this reaction as per the definition of enthalpy of combustion? Of course. 1 mole of carbon burnt in excess of air or oxygen to give. If it gives carbon monoxide, then that cannot be called as enthalpy of combustion of carbon, because in excess air or oxygen, carbon completely combusts to give only carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide. Is that okay? So enthalpy of combustion of carbon means it has to give carbon dioxide only. Whereas you can write an equation for enthalpy of formation of carbon monoxide, formation of carbon dioxide, not enthalpy of combustion of carbon. Now people have to tell me this value, enthalpy of combustion of carbon, is minus 393.5 kilojoules. This value can be referred by another term also. What is that? Can you tell me?
Delta RH.
Delta RH. So for any balanced equation, whatever the enthalpy change is there, that is called enthalpy of reaction, delta RH. But there is one more terminology.
Delta FH.
Of
CO2.
that I have to mention, right? So this minus 393.5 kilojoule can also be called, referred as enthalpy of formation, delta FH of carbon dioxide, or it can be referred as delta CH of carbon, or you can simply say delta RH of this reaction. Is it okay? So this can be enthalpy of combustion of carbon or enthalpy of formation of carbon dioxide. I think because it satisfies the condition of enthalpy of combustion of carbon as well as the enthalpy of formation of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is being formed from its elements. 1 mole of carbon is burnt in excess air or oxygen. Fine. So fine. We'll take for. I will take one more example. Can you people tell me, can I call this enthalpy change delta as delta CH of methane?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What are the other terminologies?
Delta RH.
Delta RH. What are the other terminologies?
Delta FH of CO2. Oh no, it can't be. Yeah. Can't be. Sorry.
So it
Sorry, sir.
can't be called as enthalpy of formation of carbon dioxide, though 1 mole is formed, it's not from its elements. So delta CH of methane, correct? Because 1 mole of methane is completely burnt, combusted in excess air or oxygen. But it cannot be enthalpy of formation of either carbon dioxide or water. It can be otherwise enthalpy of reaction, that's all, as it is balanced equation. Is it okay? What I'll do, I'll write within the bracket this equation. This is enthalpy of combustion of carbon, same as enthalpy of formation of carbon dioxide, can also be called the general term enthalpy of reaction. These are the different terminologies. Okay, and this can be enthalpy of combustion of methane, also delta RH of the reaction. That's all. It can't be enthalpy of formation of either carbon dioxide or water. I think the difference is very clear for you. Now, people have to tell me, enthalpy of combustion can be only negative, only positive, or it can be negative or positive. What is correct?
Only negative.
That means enthalpy of combustion is always exothermic, you mean?
Yes, sir.
There is no positive whenever something is combusted. Heat is not absorbed at all. Shall I give you an example? Hmm? I'll go back. Look at this. What is happening here? N2 plus O2 given it 2 in O plus, no? Enthalpy of combustion can be positive, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, shall I write it can be either positive or negative? Positive or negative? Shall I write? Can be positive or negative. Shall I write?
Yes, sir.
No, I will not write.
Sir, it's always negative, right?
Why? Why always negative?
Because it's
Sir, because
combustion, it always gives energy.
I told you, no. Here, see, it is nitrogen being combusted. No, it's positive. No,
Ah, yes, sir.
but enthalpy
no,
of
sir,
combustion. Then tell me why.
that wasn't burning, sir. That nitrogen wasn't burning. If it was burning, CO2 would be liberated.
No, it's not always. No, man, it is burning. That's a good idea that you have. That's a good thing. Whenever a substance is burnt, for example, when sulfur is burnt, can carbon dioxide be obtained, Mr. Is it Sushruth?
No, sir, no, sir.
No. Who told the answer?
Pratham, sir.
Pradham. Okay, good man. No problem. Uh, Spontaneously, you told the answer. Can sulfur give upon combustion carbon dioxide? No. Likewise, combustion of any substance will give its oxide. If nitrogen is combusted, it gives its oxide. Sulfur is combusted, it gives its oxide. Carbon is combusted, it gives its oxide. Hydrogen is combusted, it's oxide. Water, that is its oxide. Now, I didn't get the answer for this. Boys and girl. Priya, madam.
Sir, while burning, it is exothermic, sir. I don't think it will become colder. The heat will be absorbed.
See, man, it is being shown, no? N2 plus O2 given it 2. This can't be wrong. It is the data that I have taken from the genuine books only. So I'll change now. Shall I change? Delta CH can be negative exothermic or positive endothermic. You have to tell me, otherwise I'll change now. Make it fast, please. People are spellbound, I say. Listen, enthalpy of combustion is always negative. It can't be positive, always negative, meaning exothermic. That is, during combustion of any substance, heat is always liberated. Any question?
About nitrogen.
That is my question. No, why you ask my question? Huh? You didn't ask me question. No, it's my question. You have to answer. You didn't ask me the question, so I will not answer. What should I do? Okay. What is the condition of the enthalpy of combustion? It is the change in enthalpy that occurs when 1 mole of a substance is completely burnt in presence of excess air or oxygen. NO is not the final product of N2 combustion.
It will be NO2.
That's all the technical thing. Okay. So if you supply excess oxygen and give finally, it gives NO2. NO2, which is the final product of combustion, complete combustion of N2, is exothermic again. Not to worry. Is that okay? During always combustion, carbon dioxide is liberated. Mr. Pratham. Okay, well, that's fine. Delta CH is always negative. I think you got the point.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's fine. Okay, this is enthalpy of combustion for you. They'll ask you one question here. I'll take this. Of course. See, different allotropes, you know. Okay, different allotropes, you know. Carbon, which are the world famous allotropes of carbon?
Diamond.
Diamond and graphite, right? Carbon
Yeah.
will combust. It gives carbon dioxide. You know this. Delta CH is given minus 393.5. Carbon will combust. You know this. Carbon dioxide. Delta CH is minus 393.5. It is 395.4. What is this, sir? You have written carbon, carbon. Carbon in the form of graphite. This is carbon in the form of diamond. Look at the enthalpy of combustion of carbon in graphite, carbon in diamond, and the enthalpy changes. Can you comment on the stability of carbon in graphite and carbon in diamond?
Diamond was stabler than graphite.
Diamond is more stable than graphite. Shall I conclude? All of you? Excuse me. Are you all there?
Yes, sir. Still.
Okay. Tell me then. Ruchit Simha. Mr. Pratham. Only Sanat. Sanat Kashyap. Yes, Mr. Saranga. What's your answer?
I think it's diamond.
Pardon me?
I think it's diamond.
Diamond is more stable.
Yes.
That means you are probably not worrying about these values. You know, diamond
No.
is so hard.
I thought it's like negative 395.4 it
Ah.
releases 395.4 kilojoules.
So if it is 395.4, it releases 390.5. So how do you say diamond is more stable?
More heat is released.
If more heat is released, what it concludes? There
It
are two
should have
points.
had more heat,
There are two
energy.
points here. Okay. See, this is the packet. He has so much money. He has more money. In both the packets, yes. He's spending more. He's doing more expenditure. Why? It is spending more means he has more money. He has less money. This guy, Diamond, is liberating more heat, meaning it has more enthalpy. That's why it is liberating more. This guy, Graphite, is liberating less, meaning it has less enthalpy. So what does it mean now? Compared to the enthalpy of diamond, graphite has less enthalpy. The one which possesses less enthalpy would be more
Stable.
all the things. Okay. So which is more stable? They'll ask you this comment. Okay. The same question will be asked in terms of transition later in a different way. Not worry. So we'll take up the answer for this. Since heat liberated by the combustion carbon in diamond is greater than carbon in graphite, it implies that enthalpy of diamond is greater than enthalpy of graphite. This implies that stability of diamond is less than stability of graphite. That's all. Is that okay? So fine. We'll proceed now. See, under every definition, there is something or the other to conclude in addition. Okay, like enthalpy of formation, more heat liberated, more will be the stability. Enthalpy of formation can be negative or positive. Enthalpy of combustion should always be negative. And now it can be more the heat liberated, more will be the enthalpy of the compound, so less will be the stability, like that. And also, when you take a definition of a particular concept, you should know certain conditions. Enthalpy of combustion is for 1 mole of substance in excess air or oxygen. That means that 1 mole of substance should be completely combusted to give the product, not partial. That is the case. Similarly, when it comes to enthalpy of formation, 1 mole of the compound should be formed from its elements in the standard state. If it is also at 1 bar, then it is delta FH naught. Like that, the same thing here. If it is also at 1 bar, it is delta CH naught. Is that okay? So that's about. Shall we proceed now? After enthalpy of combustion, I just give that statement. What is that? Delta CH at 1 bar pressure. Rest all the conditions are there. It's called delta CH naught. Fine. After this, we'll take up next definition. That is enthalpy of solution. Enthalpy of solution, delta Solage line. The term itself indicates that it is a change in enthalpy when a solution is formed. When would a solution be formed? Whenever a solute is dissolved in a solvent. Now, along with that, the conditions in order to call anything as enthalpy of solution. Enthalpy of solution. For 1 mole of solute, in solvent, the solvent should be less or more. It should be more. Why? If it is less, then it wouldn't, the 1 mole of solute wouldn't completely dissolve. So to ensure dissolution of 1 mole of solute complete, the solvent should be in large excess. So 1 mole of solvent, when dissolved in large excess of solvent, for complete dissolution, we are going to mention large excess of solvent. Then whatever the enthalpy change is there, that is called enthalpy of solution. So what are the conditions here? Again, enthalpy of solution is always referred for 1 mole of solute in large excess of solvent, so that complete dissolution. Okay, so people have to tell me. I'll take examples. How do you show the dissolution of sodium hydroxide in aqueous medium? It gives Na plus Aq plus OH minus Aq. Right? So here delta Solage minus 18 kilojoules. So when sodium hydroxide is dissolved in water, heat is liberated. You know, it liberates really good amount of heat. In the lab, by any chance, if you dissolve sodium hydroxide in beaker,
Yes, sir. It will become hot.
oh, it becomes so hard that you can't even touch for a while. Right now?
Yes, sir.
Like sodium chloride, I'll dissolve. It becomes Na plus aqueous. Tell me, it liberates more heat or less heat? Sodium chloride. Sodium chloride, when dissolved in aqueous medium like sodium hydroxide, liberates more heat or less heat?
It absorbs heat.
Ah, very good. I gave you one example sometime back for endothermic reaction, right?
Yes, sir.
Plus 5.45 kilojoules. Heat is absorbed. Sir, what is this? This is sodium compound. That is also sodium compound. How come it makes the difference? You should remember one thing. Enthalpy of solution of ionic salts is always positive endothermic. It is not ionic salt, it is a base. This is a base. We can generalize only in case of ionic, perfect ionic salts. Whenever an ionic salt is dissolved in water, heat is always absorbed, heat is not liberated. Okay, so that you can generalize it, no problem. So enthalpy of solution can be negative or positive, but for enthalpy of solution of perfect ionic crystal, it is always positive. Is it okay? So fine, with this we'll conclude for now. Enthalpy of solution, it is the change in enthalpy that occurs when 1 mole of a solute is dissolved in large excess of solvent completely. That is enthalpy. So enthalpy of solution, so you can make a statement, enthalpy of solution of an ionic crystal is positive, means endothermic. So that's fine. Hope concepts are clear. Is there any doubt in all the concepts that we discussed so far?
No, sir.
No, sir.
That's fine. We'll stop at this stage. Meet you tomorrow itself, I think. We'll meet for the tomorrow's class. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Saranga, just I admitted you. I said thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye. Yes, I'm going to end the meeting.